All right, test 1 2. How you guys doing? It's April 16th. Make sure we got everything going. Don't all talk at once. All right. Give me a second. Got everything going. What's up, Sean? How are you? All right. Audio's coming through good. Test. Looks like we're doing good. Rainbow Trends is live on Twitter. Let's see if we can get some love from Nikita today. All right. Let me get the stream going. Hope you guys are doing well. Wild week. I've been super busy. You guys can't tell. All right, live stream. All right, so you guys curious anything about the show? Why my charts look so colorful? It's Rainbow Trends. Check us out if you want. If not, go check out the OGs and friends and family. We need to remove Dime. He's not a friend anymore. But moving on, we got a lot to cover today. We're going to go over a bunch of AI news that hit this week. We're going to go over some of the world politics that's going on with the war, what the polymarket dudes are thinking this war is going to wrap up with. Cover some Bitcoin charts, cover some stock market charts, cover a lot of the DDR manufacturing charts that dude, a lot of the guys in the Rainbow Trends Discord have been using and trading lately. I say using, they're actually just trading those markets. There's a lot of stuff that's going well. As far as a lot of this DDR supply chain stuff's going, but I digress. Let's move forward. Let's get going. Hope you guys, like I said, hope you guys are doing well. Almost the weekend. You guys have almost made it. But we're live on Twitter. We're live on YouTube. And we're going to have some fun. We're going to hang out here for about an hour. And then we're going to go head over to the Rainbow Trends Discord for the rest of the night. If you guys are in the mood, like, comment, subscribe. But as always, remember, this stream is intended for educational purposes only. It's not to be used as financial advice. So start this off this week. This is cool, and I had to flag it. I've seen a lot of weird stuff in the ocean. I've never seen anything like this. Why we're traveling in space when we could just be traveling through the ocean, I don't know, but this is flat out amazing. This is a video from 1991 from like a subsea ROV. And I'll tell you guys, I got no idea. But it's friggin' awesome. Deepest I've ever worked offshore in the oilfield industry was 9,100 feet. And we saw some weird stuff subsea. Nothing like this or that gigantic alien-looking thing, but we did see some crazy stuff subsea. You'd randomly see a shrimp come by with like a built-in lobster claw. That was cool. We saw some tadpole things that they looked just like tadpoles, but based on the size of like the oilfield equipment we were on, these tadpoles would be like 2 feet long. And I've never seen a subsea picture of like any nature documentary of showing like frog tadpoles subsea, but that, dude, I swear it's exactly what it looked like. Same color, everything. They were just gigantic. But anyway, you never know what's out there. A lot of cool stuff in that ocean. Apparently, maybe aliens as well. We've got some disclosure stuff later today when we cover the TMZ news. But moving on. So I got a kick out of it this week. I watched The Real Fly. He's a bit sensationalist. I say a bit. He's a lot, but I get a kick out of some of the news he does. And he does pipe on some stuff from time to time that's important. So shout out The Real Fly. But apparently the U.S. has spoken to the automakers GM and Ford about making weapons. You guys don't know, there's a bit of a showdown going on in the Middle East, and a lot of equipment is getting burnt up. When I say burnt up, a lot of drones are getting fired, a lot of missiles are getting fired, tapping into stocks that take a very, very long time to build up. If you guys don't remember, a few years ago, Russia actually reached out to North Korea for long-range artillery munitions. Let me tell you, you have to be in a effing bind to want North Korean-produced artillery. But it's just the nature of war. You can consume stuff faster than you can manufacture it, but it's looking like they're trying to get GM and Ford to start making weapons. I instantly thought, it can't be GM and Ford. It needs to be Rivian. And, oh, I don't have it. Hold on. Where is it? There it is. So, Gondor calls for aid. Rivian will answer. I have a lot of fun with Grok and ChatGPT image generation. Considering the Rivians were adding the LiDAR maxis, why not add some radar and some artillery to these bad boys? That's all I'm saying. But shout out RJ. We like the tech. We like the cars. I'm looking forward to the scouts you guys are helping build out. But moving on. While you guys are here, Ford, right? Let's check the Ford charts since apparently they're going to be potentially an ARM manufacturer again, which I don't think they've technically been since, the 40s? I don't know. Old school Rainbow Trends logo. I used to trade this when it was ranging. I haven't touched it in a very long time, and to be honest with you, as bad as Ford has messed up with the EVs and some of their truck stuff, I just not been into it. That being said, since April of last year till basically February this year, they fully reclaimed $9 all the way to 14. Rejected kind of this area that seems to be a common rejection point. The pivots are a little uneasy here, but moving forward, you can see we are having another swing here, coming back down, retesting. There is rhyme in motion to what these whales are doing, believe it or not. But it's just... Can you trade it? Yeah. Is it for me? No. It's not volatile enough, and it's just that's 12 months. And I get it. That's a hell of a run, but man, it's hard for me to wait for that type of stuff. And right now, that was a Pico nice one there, but I'm just not into it. I gotta either absolutely hate the asset I'm trading or actually really like the company. There's no in between. So anyway, moving on, checking out GM. GM I'm a little more bullish on. The LS motors are doing great, as they always have. But GM has been the standout between all of them. Same kind of accumulation range, kind of what Ford was doing, but way more consistent. Mainly 2 ranges here instead of 1, or instead of like 2 or 4, depending, like 2 lows, 2 highs. This one mainly had an upper and a lower. But the overall, this one just launching. I'm not willing to touch this. This thing's looking like a DDR chart at this point. But in general, with the news articles, we're going to check the random tickers because maybe there's something there we need to see if some of the whales are giving us some type of hint. But earnings coming up. We'll see. Moving on. Big announcement. If you guys haven't noticed, I mess a lot with Quinn. A lot of the AI memory benchmarks and the agentic coding and stuff that I do is based off the Quinn 3.5 models, particularly the 27B. The 27B has a very, very special place in my heart. It's got crazy intelligence. It's basically Opus in a box if you've got 24 gigabytes of RAM and can do a quantized model. But big news today, Quinn dropped the 3.6 open source, their first model. So you were able to do API calls on the Quinn 3.6 up until today. Now you can actually host the first 3.6 model at your own leisure. These dropped today. You guys can go grab them on Hugging Face. I downloaded them over my lunch and just did some initial testing, and they're pretty quick, and it was way better than the 35B that we saw previously from 3.5. And a lot of the benchmark tests that I'm building and testing against, the long mem eval, it's the 35B was not very good compared to the 27B. The difference mainly is one's an MOE, one is a dense model. The 27B is much slower, but all parameters are active at all times. The MOEs, not all the parameters are active all the time. It kind of runs through them differently, but they haul butt. These are like 3 times faster on my 3090 than the 27B, and they bench pretty well. But in general, you guys look at this stuff. These were pretty big jumps. In general, 27B is still beating it on some things. You can see the 27B here. But, dude, they're whooping Gemma's butt. So, Google, step up your game. Super Nemotron, your NVIDIA dudes, pick it up. Get back to work. But I'm very, very bullish on this stuff. I've messed around with a lot of models. I'm not a big expert. But when I got to the Quinn stuff, it woke me up. And I was like, yo, this is actually really, really good. I'm willing to invest and play with this. But anyway, if you guys, regardless of what you have, if you guys don't know what's going on, Go check out Hugging Face. Go read through their their documentation. All this stuff is free. You can sit there and look at the models, and then people sit there and they modify the models themselves at home, doing their own stuff. They do quantization, so regardless of what video card you have, like absolutely regardless, there's a model for you. Too long didn't read. These are basically just different sizes of the model that people can produce, and there's different kind of codes for each one. Think of it like video games, 64-bit versus 32-bit versus 24, 16, 8, stuff like that. These people are able to kind of like move the bit sizes down, and they can get the same model to run, so it's like the same game, right? But it's a little less resolution. But this native model for the Quinn it's something, don't quote me, but it's something like 60 or 80 gigabytes. You can't really run that. Most people don't have enough horsepower to run that. But you can quantize it down to down to 22 gigabytes and still have like really good performance and accuracy. And that's what a lot of these things are doing, and people are getting so good at it. But if you want, go check out Unsloth. They do really, really good stuff, and that's the one that I was playing with today. And then also, obviously Quinn will start dropping their own quantized versions throughout the weeks, and you can see they have an FP8 here. The full model is an FP16, so the FP8's like half the size, but most people run down like on the Q4 side, like a 4-bit size. So anyway, I digress. Just don't get overwhelmed with it. That's the breakdown of these. These are the models. These are what they do. And then there's the different quantization, so you can kind of run it down to what you can. There's very little difference between like the full-blown thing and like a 4-bit quantization, which is 4 times smaller. Start going a little bit past that, it starts getting a little tricky, but people are doing what they can, especially for the people that have like 16 gigabyte video cards. They're doing a lot of work to try to get the 22 gigabyte stuff down to fit on a 16 with as little degradation as possible, and people are getting really, really good at it. But if you're wanting to start out, go mess with what you got. Don't go out and buy a Mac Mini or anything like that. Maybe just rent some GPUs if you really want to play with it. But in general, guys, you know me, I went the Z840 route. Learned a lot of stuff. You have to modify the power harnesses on these with an aftermarket harness, and you get a total of 4 PCI Express, or not 4 PCI, a total of 4 8-pin PCI cards, or pins, the cables that you can plug in video cards. You've got enough room for about 3 2-slot video cards in these things, plus a PCI card to hook you up an NVMe, which isn't super necessary, but is a little nice to load models. And they've got enough power supply to run some decent stuff. Ideally, you could probably run... It'd be pushing it, but I think you could do 2 3090s in here and maybe a 5060 Ti, but you would have to power limit a lot of the stuff. I currently have mine dual 3090s in it, and it's a recent upgrade. But I just got my big news, guys. I got the video card that I ordered from China, and it works. But you can get these things for dirt cheap. That's the main things I like about them. They're dirt cheap, and they have really strong power supplies in them. Albeit they're 3-pin or they're 6-pin PCI cables in these stocks, so you have to buy like a $45 harness and wire it in. It was a bit of a pain, but your engineer here didn't slow him down. Albeit those cables had to come out of China too and took forever. Had I redone everything, had I reconsidered life in general and spent the money up front, in hindsight, guys, the Z840 I don't think was the best decision. I was stuck between a Dell PowerEdge T630 and an HP Z840, and the Z840s were just way cheaper, and I found an insane deal with one that already had like a 1080 graphics card in it, plus RAM, plus a bunch of other stuff. But in hindsight, I'm limited. Right now, I've got 2 workstations behind me running an old ThinkStation and then the dual 3090 setup. Had I done it proper, I probably should have paid a little bit more money and upgraded to the Dell version of these workstations. And the reason being, this bad boy's got a lot more room. And if you'll notice, there's 2 power supplies in this thing. 2, right? Why does that matter? These data cards are, I say these data cards, the video cards that are actually really, really good for AI eat a lot of power. Behold, this is quad Tesla P40s installed in the Dell T630. I do not recommend P40s. I have one. DM me if you want one to buy for cheap, because I have no use for the one that I have now. But it shows you that you could technically put quad 3090s in this potentially, and potentially power it all and be good. And let me tell you, if you have 4 3090s or 4 4090s or 4 5090s, something like that, you've got an ungodly amount of horsepower inside one box, which is really, really cool. This thing's really crossing the line between simple workstation and starting to get kind of into a data or like an actual rack server. But I can tell you, there's no way I could get 4 3090s in a Z840. So you gotta pick and choose. I don't have personal experience with this. I know the motherboards and stuff are a bit more active. You have to do a bunch of different stuff to add in these to get dual Xeons online and some other stuff. The Z840, you just throw in another Xeon and it goes. And those Xeons are like $12. So I bought another Xeon, another cooler, and I was ready to go. But 3090s in general, dudes. From the last stream, I've changing my recommendations. The 3090s are my official #1 pick. Frickin' P40s are now $300, and they can't quantize for crap because they don't have tensor cores. Long story short, the stuff you think will fit on a 24 gigabyte won't fit on these P40s. Also, there's no fans on these things. You have to 3D print your fan model and put a little fan on it. It's that are loud. It's a pain. I did it all. Been there. I don't recommend it. Go ahead and spend your money and buy an actual 3090. But keep in mind, guys, these things are more than 2 slots wide. So if you're trying to stack them like that photo, you need to go a different route. But I will tell you, 3090 turbos do exist, and this is what I bought from China recently. Long story short, I paid a lot of money for a 3090 because I keep seeing these prices of all these video cards going up, and I finally was like, you know what? I need another 3090 for this AI thing I'm doing. Let me swap it out for the 5060 Ti and see if I can make it work. Long story short, you can get these turbo cards. Majority of them are coming out of China, out of old like mining rigs or data center stuff. They're about $1,100. They're loud, but they only need 2 8-pin PCIs, and they're 2 slots wide instead of like 2.5 or 3. And you can stack these bad boys next to each other, and then power limit them however you need. But I got mine in. I got one of these MSI versions. Came from a box from China. It took a week to get here, and the box itself smelled like something I've never smelled in my entire life. I can't even describe it. But if Corona 3 hits, you guys know where it hit. Now, backing up, people have been messaging me like, what other things do they do? Because I don't want to buy a 3090. Guys, and realistically, my lists have changed a little bit. The only things I would semi-consider is like a 5060 Ti, but these are $500. Occasionally you can find them under $500, but it's rare. They're only like 180 watts, and they take 1 8-pin power supply, so that's like really, really nice. But that's this is slower than a 3090, even if you have 2 of them. So you can spend $1,000 to get you 32 gigabytes of RAM with 2 cards, and it's still slower. Other kind of sleepers, the 3060 12 gigabyte, you can get these used for like $200. Occasionally you'll see them come up on like Zotac Refurb Store for like 180. That's a pretty decent card if you're budget stricken, right? And you can stack these things. You can spread these models across different cards, or across multiple cards. Another one that kind of dropped that people are talking about is the nvidia RTX Pro 4000. It's a lower wattage card. It's super thin, but it's still slower than a 3090, and it's $1,700. These were like cheaper. I think these were like $1,200, but they've gone way up, so I don't really recommend that. But moving on, big news. TrendSpider always has the amazing marketing team. I have another meeting with TrendSpider next week, so shout out Dan, shout out Manolis, shout out Dave, or not David. I forgot the other guy. Got another meeting with them. we are working on converting a lot of my code into JavaScript and bringing it onto TrendSpider. So all you TrendSpider bros who have been bugging me for like 3 years straight to get on TrendSpider, dudes, we're getting closer than we've ever been. It's a struggle, and I feel really, really bad what these coders are having to do. But we are moving forward, and I'm hoping this year to have the Rainbow Trends experience on 2 platforms. So very, very excited. Been a long time. But shout out TrendSpider, shout out Dan. But this is what's interesting. All this AI buzz. NVIDIA is struggling with the chip shortage, right? Intel 65% year to date, while NVIDIA has just been going sideways. And that's been the story for a while now. NVIDIA is just like, yo, we're discontinuing some lines temporarily. We don't have DDR chips to build gaming graphics cards anymore, blah, 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 blah. I actually panic bought a 5060 Ti thinking they were going out of stock, like Jensen had hinted that they were going to stop production. I paid like $550 out the door, and I highly regret it. I wish I'd have just spent that money on a 3090, but I digress, and it's running in a second machine now. It's low wattage, and it's 16 gigabytes of RAM, and it's relatively fast. So one day, if I can snag another 5060 Ti, I'll throw it in that machine, and I'll be able to have all the AI stuff work between 2 of them. But NVIDIA's still king when it comes to chips. I know a lot of people have shot me DMs asking about like Intel, the B70 stuff they released, as well as some of the AMD options. In general, dudes, a lot of this stuff's hard anyway for people that aren't like native to IAI and Linux, but NVIDIA makes like 95% of everything that's used in the AI market. This stuff's easier, and it's typically better. There's a reason people are stacking 5-year-old 3090s. It's still like the best. But anyway, best bang for the buck. Anyway, what's up, Sean? Sean, I've actually wanted to try a durian fruit. I've never had one. It's one of those things where it's like, I've heard they're awful. People make fun of them and stuff like that, and they make a lot of jokes. But in reality, I don't know. Sometimes I like weird stuff. Like, call me goofy, but like, dudes, I love astronaut ice cream, and people like talk like it's just absolute garbage. But anyway, why you guys are here, let's talk Rainbow Trades of the Week. So if you guys haven't noticed, your boy Mally and your boy Runner have been posting in the P&L thing. We're definitely banging out some trades on different time frames, but same technical market. So shout out Malifestro. If you're not following him, you definitely need to, and definitely bug him. But I scooped up a rainbow reversion on Micron, which is the only American DDR manufacturer until Elon really goes into production, which he's really, really close. So shout out Elon, because I'm all about American DDR at this point. And then Malifestro has been hanging through his setup with AMD. So he's a little bit lower time frame than I am, but it's Rainbow Theory. You can adjust to whatever time frame works. I've got traders that trade on 30-second candles. I got people that trade on weekly candles. Find what works for you. Do your own thing. Like, it's coming from a dude who's pretends to be a rainbow cow and talk about whales, right? So go figure that one out. But AMD, we're going to drop down. This is the H4 that I typically look at, but you can look at like what Malifestro had his chart on the H1. The dude killed it. If you can't tell, let's draw this out, Rainbow Theory 101. Where do the whales have support? A little bit of this. Where do they have resistance? A little bit of that, right? He took an exit out today. Go check it in the Discord. He posted the charts, and I just showed you the proof in the pudding. But when you're talking about a range here from a white candle pushing into support, not necessarily the revision bands, but back up to here, it's a 43% move on a Fortune 500 stock. I consider it a Tech 7, but 40% range, and he TP'd here. You got white RSIs, which is super, super rare, but super, super cool. So shout out Mally. Now, the one that I played was Micron. If you guys don't know, there's 3 DDR manufacturers in the world. SK Hynix in Korea, Samsung in Korea, and then Micron Technologies in the United States. Elon is currently working on making a DDR chip plant in the United States. He's not there yet, but he's getting there. And we're going to cover some of that later in the stream, so shout out Tesla. But this is one Micron took a letter of intent from Sam Altman in ChatGPT and ran with it, thinking that Sama was going to lock up, I think, like 30 or 40% of all DDR in production in the entire world. So Micron flat out shut down, I think, Corsair RAM, the consumer version of their RAM products. Says we're only doing data center now, AI RAM, and we're going to allocate and prepare to sell 30 to 40% or something like that of all of our stock production directly to ChatGPT. Well, Elon was right once again. That data center deal stuff, they didn't have the funding for it, and that actually fell through. Unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, but it left Micron dangling out in the cold. They were pretty much screwed here, and the market did not super anticipate it. There was clearly an off-selling here, like Rainbow Theory 101, you want a little lesson in channel walks. This was a live channel walk. We traded live in the Discord, called it out, got Twitter receipts, longed it, and got out. I think overall entries to exit, I was roughly around 25%ish here. I'd have to go check the day trade account, but I'm going to take that all day, every day. I honestly fully expect Micron to just keep doing the DDR chart pattern where stuff just keeps going up and out. But I will tell you guys, when I get an ungodly setup, we got this full thing, and then the Sam Altman news broke out that they were not going to be able to fulfill their payment side of the DDR order. The channel walk went all the way down to this reversion band, actually printed white candles, got the rainbow rotation signal here, got a little bit of lively action here on the volume, a little bit. But we broke out of this channel here, and I started adding to the position, and my plan was, and I checked the Twitter receipts if you want to call this rainbow stuff fake. I said, yo, if we actually get to 455, this is going to be freaking epic, and I'm out. Dude, we got to 455, and I think I sold at 454, something like that. Overall, that candle wick all the way to the top was like, we'll just call it 50%. It's like 49 and some change. Channel walk break was roughly 39%. And I was somewhere around there. I was like 25 to 20, something around there. That's what I got out of it. So, shout out Sam. Glad I had money sidelined for that entry. It's reverse intuitive because the whales want you to panic sell and think this stuff's going to zero. That's a 50% bump on that, right? Very, very cool. Very, very Rainbow Theory 101, but a lot of stuff hit there. The colors are rotating here. The RSI is bleeding out. We're touching the reversion bands, and we got confirmation that the structure of a channel walk broke out. Game on, dudes. And the signal played out, covered our butts, and made it out. So that was the two Rainbow Theory trades of the week. Manifestro, and then the one I got in on micro. I don't get this opportunity very often, so I'm a bit vocal about it because we had one live play out, and it worked really well. So shout out to all the other people who traded that one, and shout out Sam. Now, moving on. If you guys didn't know, the MacBook Neo was a hit. Way bigger than Apple anticipated. I cannot stand iOS, and I want one of these so bad. If you guys don't know what they actually did, the last generation iPhone Pro, I think it's the A18 Pro chip, they had issues with some of their chips, and hold on one second, guys. Got to give my kid a huggo. Night, bud. And anywho, the A18 Pros, it has 6 GPU chips in it. And basically, Apple saved all the chips that had die defects. So they only had 5 of them, 5 GPUs that were active instead of 6. Apple saved the silica because it's still really, really good. It's just down a GPU, and instead of putting it into the iPhones, they stack these things up and then put it in a laptop. It's maybe a 10% hit on the overall video graphics performance, but apparently these things have sold out so fast and they burn through so many of them. They're actually out of these bin chips that they've been saving. These A18 Pro chips are gone. And they are going to have to rush, allegedly, and make the Neo 2 come out with, I think, has like an A19 chip in it, because the option is they either pick up the old dies and start building the old silica chips, or they just move on to the next one. But it's got like 16 hours of the battery life. It's like $500, $600. I want one for all the wrong reasons. Just they're cool. And I spend so much time messing around remoting into a Linux terminal anyway. I'm kind of considering it. But anyway, what's up, Esk? Esk is our angel AI investor. What's up, dude? She loves it. That's awesome. Let me know. The only thing I'm not crazy about Esk is it doesn't have a lit keyboard, and I don't think I use lit keyboard that much in real life, but whatever. Yeah, I want the premium one that has the fingerprint reader, because I've got kids who constantly sneak internet, and I don't want that, and I want to be able to lock my fingerprint to it. But anyway, Apple dudes, man, OpenClaw hit. Everybody was buying every Mac Mini on Earth because all these social media influencers were telling you that's the way to go. Long story short, dudes, Apple's not really the best thing in the world for hardcore AI. It can work on the MOE stuff, but do your research. All these dudes posting nonstop video pictures of like all these Mac Studios and Mac Minis on their desk stacked 10 high. They're not really posting like actually doing anything. It's a lot of just social media and getting clicks because people like seeing Apple stuff on the desk, I guess. I'll tell you this, people do not engage with old Dell Power Stations and Z840 content, let me tell you. But moving on, if you are really going to want to do AI on a Mac, you either need like the MacBook Pro laptop or you need like the Mac Studio. And at that point, you're no longer talking about $400 devices. You're talking about multi-$1,000 stuff. You'd really want like the 128 would be my recommendation, preferably like the 256. But that's a $3,500 machine, and that's still like the M4. No, is that the M4 chip? It's not even the M5, which is the latest. So I don't recommend it, but if you want to be Apple, you need the Studio. Unfortunately, man, they're just not economical. But another thing I've been dealing with, Opus 4.6 for real was like God mode 4 weeks ago, and it's just been getting dumber and dumber and dumber, and people like can prove it and statistically like chart it. And lo and behold, they dumb it down and then they release 4.7, which just feels like the old 4.6. So it is what it is, but I'm very frustrated they don't lock in the intelligence, because there was flat out stuff I was coding with 4.6 on these OpenClaw agents that it understood 3 weeks ago that it doesn't understand now, and it's just so stupid. You can tell it's getting dumber. But speaking of dumber stuff, I can't keep up with what Vitalik's doing anymore. To be honest, I couldn't either when he was talking sharding and really in the trenches, but I'll tell you what, Ethereum to 7,000? No, S&P over 7,000, my guys. So, in an odd turn of events, this is where we're at. The tariff scare was easy. The tariffs, well, I say easy. For your seasoned like Rainbow Theory trader, great buying opportunity. In real time, this scared the bejesus out of the market. But we knew midterms were coming up. We knew Trump was going to pivot on this. We knew eventually there was also the wild card of the courts coming in saying it's illegal. And we knew damn well, as crazy as Trump is, he's not going to take the S&P from 6,000 and drop it down to 3. He'll pivot eventually and just say something. I don't know. I got a lot of exposure around 5,200. Quite a bit. 401k account did very, very well. Rode this back down, which was the Iran scare. after having a channel walk shift, and then a second channel walk forming. I was like, man, this isn't good looking. AI bubble, maybe. And then Iran popped off. And to be honest with you guys, I thought Iran was going to be... I thought it was going to pull a little bit deeper here. But blunder after blunder, it looks like it's going to wrap up pretty soon. If you're a betting man and you actually look at the poly market odds, it looks like they're going to be wrapping this up by the end of the month. Is what they're currently betting, end of April. And to be honest, that seems to be what the tone is shifted, because it seems like it's a nasty hornet's nest that's been kicked, and there's just not an easy way to get out of it. But eventually it's going to have to. Oil prices have gone way too much. It's going to creep up inflation. And now we're starting to have tickers time down on jet fuel running out in Europe, as well as other countries that have already run out of jet fuel, which then could potentially come back to the United States, which Americans in general do not tolerate the airports getting messed with for very long. They will start... All these people who never call their congressman will start complaining and storming their congressmen's houses and offices if the airports get shut down and they start missing holidays. Very big deal in America. It's kind of weird, but it is what it is. But anyway, S&P. Moving on, you can also see another post by Malfestro. This one was good. Just giving us a friendly shout out to Rainbow Trends and Darius Dale. The Mali trend forming system complete. Trading the QQQ. Bam, bam. Riding it all the way to all-time highs. It's awesome. QQQ actually breaking above 640 today. What is up? And it's a hated rally, dudes. Absolutely hated. But is what it is. Enjoy it. It's I mean, what do you want to say? It's over 7,000 before Ethereum, which who'd have thought it, right? Take it for what it's worth. But what goes up must come down, right? Well, Allbirds, the AI company. If you haven't seen this interview on Conan O'Brien, go look it up. It's the guy who found out years later his friend Jeffrey Epstein was put in jail. It's an absolutely hilarious thing, and the references the line is Jeffrey Epstein, the New York financier. But yeah, Allbirds, the AI company. So apparently a failing shoe company says we're just going to take our remaining profits and go buy GPUs and become an AI company. Let me tell you, they went from $2.50 all the way up to $25 in a day. They 10x'd. A shoe company 10x'd over AI. It's fantastic. So, you know, was that actual tax? Yeah, tax days when they did that. So that's fun. But shout out Coinbase, shout out Kraken. You guys know I'm a Kraken affiliate, but still, I did get a 1099 a day after taxes were due. So thanks, guys. The crypto industry, which just doesn't have a hard enough time as it is with the IRS, giving us a 1099 the day after taxes is due is just chef kiss. Thank you. Really helping me out here. My tax accountant couldn't be happier. Thank you. Anyway, checking out Coinbase. I have not been bullish Coinbase in a very long time. We had some trades way back here. I haven't honestly messed with it. That was interesting enough. I got to be in the mood, and I honestly, guys, I can't chase too many trades. I can keep a few open in the stocks, and I need to be laser focused. But otherwise, this is what we're looking at. And to be honest with you, maybe that's sideways enough. We could start getting a range, and I'll start paying attention. We get another test back down at like the 157s. Hey, maybe I start talking Team Blue, and maybe bases for everyone, including Runner. We'll see. We'll see. Just realizing they named the Web3 base and their stock is coin. So it's thanks, Jesse. You got me there. Anyway, moving on. So Crypto Daddy, he's got a full gun arc right now, and he's going, just paid my taxes and looks like I'm going to prison. It actually looks like Crypto Daddy is going to be going to prison for a long time anyway for other related things. If you haven't noticed, he's a long-term friend of Rainbow Trends. He's been getting way into firearms lately, so shout out to our Florida boys. The Florida boys always be wildin'. But it reminded me of Oh no, I got these messed up. I think that one's wrong. Yep, sorry. This brings up to light. I saw this. So I've always wanted one of these. And I'm an adult now. I have kids. I think I have the wisdom not to mess with this. But finally, civilian flashbangs are legal. Thank God this didn't drop when I was in high school or college, because I can guarantee you I would have thrown one of these into one of my roommates' rooms back in the day. Like, almost guaranteed. But flashbangs are now legal, or there's at least a civilian version. God, I still want one. But yeah, apparently they're legal, and I Kyle Gross from Elf. Maybe I need to get one. My wife would kill me, but it is what it is. Another interesting thing this year, which I didn't see coming. TMZ has stumbled upon the pivot. They're pivoting, not to an AI company, but they're pivoting from, not pivoting, they're adding, but they are definitely making a pivot to add government employees to their news. So TMZ, which is famous for chasing down all of the different all the different celebrities and news gossip that most of you could care less about, has started covering congressmen as well as like alien disclosure congressman news stories. As of right now, I believe 2 congressmen in the past 2 weeks have resigned over TMZ scandal that dropped. And as of right now, TMZ is currently paying $100,000 bounty for any scandal stories on congressmen or women. In addition to that, they're covering the UF disclosure stuff that's apparently coming. And it's just, I didn't see this coming. Welcome to 2026. But it's pretty interesting. And side note, I think the UF disclosure due date was today that Trump ordered. It was today or yesterday. But the freaking nuclear and the UFO scientists keep dying. I think the 11th one got killed today. And the due date came and passed, and the government hasn't released all the UFO files. But the new Bob Lazar movie came out. I am probably going to watch that this weekend, so I am looking forward to that. But off from UFOs, back to the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz is open, and the sailors are having a wonderful time. If you guys haven't seen Jaws lately, go back and watch the original Jaws. It's fan-freaking-tastic. But in all reality, U.S. oil. This is going crazy. Jet fuel's running out. Gasoline prices are sky freaking high right now. Your boy's looking at Rivians. Your boy's looking at Nissan Leafs, right? The Tundra's not making so much sense right now, as much as I love it. But over... I didn't even get a half a tank. Or no, I got just a little over... I think I got 2/3 a tank today, and it was like over $60. I was like, dude. But anyway, peace in the Middle East is going to make this bad boy drop. In all reality, I don't think all these countries in the world, especially all the NATO countries, are going to tolerate like their planes not working and diesel and gasoline disappearing for long periods of time. I think they're going to throw the F down and pressure the United States to wrap this up. Polymarket bettors agree. I think we are going to get this fully wrapped up by the end of April. It's my honest gut feeling. And then we can get the new federal chair in. Hopefully, if he can get actually through all the Congress interviews and voting processes, we'll see. The next guy is likely going to drop rates, and he's a crypto bro. So we'll see how that works, right? Bitcoin all-time highs right now with the first crypto president, right? Anyway. What's up, Joshua McDonald? 6019 from YouTube. Yeah, the timeline's crazy. Like, it just... I'm not even going to cover the JFK or RFK stuff that hit today. But anyway. ExxonMobil, though, big pullback. Peace in the East, as well as Venezuela stuff popping off 173 down to 150. I'm not touching this. I haven't touched this. It's way too high. I'm always scared of stuff pulling down. The Oxy trade that we did take... I really like... I'm emotional, guys. I like Anadarko. Anadarko is a client I used to work with back in the day. They got absorbed by Occidental. This was one of the low sleepers in the oil field that wasn't pumped super going into the Venezuela stuff. I was like, yo, we could get a reversion bounce back up to here. Lo and behold, we hit the orange middle target, and then we popped right off of it. I don't know if we're going to get up and above the 75, especially if peace hits. You might want to secure your profits while you can. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, like I said, peace in the Middle East. We'll see if it really plays out. So JD Vance returning home. The U.S. will, the initial peace talks, the U.S. will return home without a deal. It's hilarious. If you guys haven't seen it, hold on. You got to see her hand. She's upset, so sad. Hey, Mom. Anyway, another fun, interesting thing. People are talking about the Iranian tolls, and they're not the toll. Well, I guess the tolls. Tolls and the Ayatollah. Someone had an infographic that they posted, and I kid you not, it had a Gentile. The AI rendered a Gentile style boat, and Doppel caught it, and he's been screenshotting it. And I just think it's the absolutely funniest thing. The Gentile arc is undefeated. But anyway, speaking of Gentile and the 10,000 cats, apparently the FAA is investigating pilots who were heard meowing on the emergency frequency line. And the FAA is going to investigate. And it's literally Super Troopers in real life playing out. But speaking of Gentile, Rivian chart, right? Gotta look at the Rivian chart. Shout out RJ. The big, beautiful wedge. And then Gentile's cute cat. Not only does Gentile have like a lot of animals, dear God, are they cute. He's got a black lab that is just precious. But anyway, extra chicken, extra tacos for that pup. This thing wedged, it broke out, went sky freaking high, went right back to the bounce point, and now it's starting to form a floor. It's looking like we're starting to have higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. I think this thing's actually playing out, and it's kind of crazy to think. So, if you guys don't know, there's like a bunch of my charts that have Gentile cats, and then other ones that have dime cats all over it. So, shout out to my cat OGs. But why you guys are here, right? This is clearly not, this is an art stream, right? It has nothing to do with crypto. It has nothing, no unpaid advertisements or whatever. So, Nikita, I am the guy who coded all this stuff, so don't flag it, please. I'm not getting paid to do this independently. I am this. So anyway, in an odd turn of events, the weekly crypto market, some heavy hitters here on the 7-day. If you guys don't know this website, it's CoinMarketCap. I'm a really big fan of it for one reason. You can come in here and you can set a 7-day ticker on percentages. And you can, at any time, just come in here and click it and see what's the biggest winners, what's the biggest losers in the past 7 days, which is really nice on a general crypto market. Randomly, stuff pumps 20-30% every other day, right? In general, I don't like chasing that, but I do like watching what's trending over 7 days, because then that's maybe an actual committed move that I need to pay attention to. So I checked it this week, and oddly enough, right before the stream, Tia's pumping. One of the most hated like coins, as well as like Aave and then Ina. And I was like, yo, let me go pull up the shitcoin charts. Lo and behold, dudes, not that I trade Tia, but dear God, from the pivot to that pivot is 37%. All the way up there is like 45. I don't know why Tia's hitting this hard. Maybe I need to check the news. Maybe your boy Runner needs to be in it for the tech. But like, dudes, October last year, this thing was $1.30. Now it's like 40 cents on a 40% pump. Was down to like 24 cents. God, maybe there's some life. In general, man, I'm not expecting it. But dudes, what are your thoughts? Do you think random shit coins are going to start going. I don't know. I really don't know. The AI TradeFi tickers are printing right now. It's the easier trade, so I'm not messing with shitcoins right now. To just being real with you guys, go where it's easy. You don't need to prove to other people that you can trade something that's really hard to trade. If you're good at it, be good at it. I don't care if it's easy or dumb or whatever. Like, your boy used to trade the living crap out of Zcash because it just kept doing rainbow reversals, and it paid for so many vacations. Even some vacations were paid while at that vacation on my phone. Just Barry Silbert, boom, 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 boom on the H4. But anyway, I digress. Long story short, don't take it as bragging, but like, do what works for you. You're really good at trading Litecoin, go trade Litecoin. You're really good at ENA, that. But right now, I'm telling you guys, shooting fish out of the barrel is a lot of the tech stuff. The AI supply chain stuff is going nuts. There's just no way around it. But anyway, speaking of AI supply chain, this beautiful chip was released or announced and shown this week. It's the Tesla AI chip, the AI5. If you guys have seen their old chips, like the AI4 and the AI3, they look like old Sound Blaster sound cards. This thing is beautiful. And remember how we were talking about American and Korean DDR? These are SK Hynix chips loaded into this thing all around it. So if I recall correctly what Elon was saying, this is more performance than a NVIDIA Blackwell chip, and it costs like 20% as much. So it's like 80% cheaper, and it's the same performance, if not more. So they're saying over the previous one, this is 8 to 10 times compute, 9 times the memory, and huge efficiency gains. Please, Elon, sell these to local bros. If I have to go to a Tesla diner to buy this, I will. It just, man, I want AI chips and not to pay out the ass, because right now it's everybody just trying to grab every 3090 they can, and it's really disappointing how expensive it is to try to get into any of this. But like I said, AI supply chain, you can see my little chart here. It's DDR7, and it's all the AI stuff that I've been chasing down. This stuff is just printing. It's a SanDisk Corporation. This is going to be your memory supply for the hard drives. It's up. It's up a lot. That's 1,900%. Crypto market's not doing this right now. AI supply chain is. Western Digital, same story. Number go up. Now, this stuff is not channel walking. It's band walking way up here. High prints. It's really hard for me to get entries here. I have to wait, be very patient, or start layering in on slightly weaker colors. You're not getting any weak colors. There's no... Dudes, the last bearish candle color was April of 2025. That's how bad this is. I say how bad this is. It's just FOMO. But the problem is you don't want to go at 174, FOMO in, and have it go down to 130. That will eat your lunch. So be very careful. Here's Seagate Technology, another hard drive company. Straight up. And then last but not least, AXTI. One of our friends recommended this one in one of the Discord roundtables to check it out. This one's even more violent. Shout out Pixa. You might want to actually play with this one because it's super violent. It's just literally going between the cyan bands and the green bands over and over and over. I'm scared to touch this damn thing. But at the same time, it's like, yo, do you just ride or die? Because, it's up 1,500. Let me see. What's it up since March, right? Let's just look. And that's off a high band. 120%, dudes. Tia only did 30% move this week. That's a 38% move. It's got A and I in it. So anyway, with that being said, guys, thank you for coming out. I'm gonna try to keep doing these on the weekly. I'm gonna go head down to the Rainbow Trends Discord for the rest of the night. Like, comment, subscribe, drop a comment, helps us out along the way, and